Wait for it. Wait for it. They have no idea. They're summoning in, gonna go on a 3-player adventure.
Why are you running?
Hello, my fellow Tarnished Today, we're looking to the stars, calling them to, and getting our Radahn on with the Starscourge Greatsword. A very unique weapon, though one I imagine you are fairly familiar with. It gives you a auto power stance, despite only having one, when you do indeed two-hand it, and of course, it comes with the Starcaller Ash of War, which is a huge pulsing area around you that after a delay sucks every enemy right in front of you for the follow-up massive damaging explosive smash. It is very, very satisfying. But note the name, Starcaller Cry. And I'm not talking... No, we're talking war cry, battle cry. A shout. You see, yes, for whatever reason, technically, this Ash of War, at least part 1, counts as a roar. And that might not immediately seem significant, but it is the secret sauce to really tip this weapon over the edge and make it an absolute monster in both, well, PvE and PvP. So it counting as a roar lets it benefit from 2 main boosts that other things just don't get, or at least very, very few. The first of which be the Island Axe in Stormvale Castle, located on a body just underneath the painting in the big kind of main area with the grafted scion in. And this axe is significant in that it boosts raw-based skills by 7.5%. That is pretty tasty. But of course it goes further than that because we have the Raw Medallion, which also boosts raw-based skills by 15%, and that's located from the final boss of these tunnels in Limgrave. So that means that we can get an extra 22.5% damage on the first big suction pulling part of this weapon's Ash of War, which is significant, because if we add everything together, do a complete build, fully buff up, I mean, yeah, that is a not low amount of damage from a huge just press this and everything in a huge area around you, including up and down, by the way. It pulls things from right up above you and right down below you and will absolutely nuke them. That is wonderful, and that is the key of what we're doing here. The rest of the build, as you might imagine, kinda just follows the usual route for boosting something both a skill and magic based. The stats, as you can see, we're favoring strength, as strength is the stat that most increases the damage of the Ash of War, indeed both parts of it, and then of course we've got the requisite intelligence and faith to get the buffs we will be using, which is of course Golden Vow for a global 15% damage increase, Flame grant me strength, you get 20% more physical damage, and the Ash of War is half physical damage, and then Terra Magica from the caves underneath Raya Lucaria Academy, which gives an extra 35% magic damage. This one, obviously a little bit niche, but yeah, it's a massive AoE range Ash of War, so you can certainly get some use out of it if you're actually allowed to set up. The rest of the stats, well, assign accordingly. They'll probably go for lighter armor and more vigor, but I could not wear Radahn chest in a thematic Radahn-based build, now could I? The build then in question is, of course, the Great Swords itself. That's all good, and I'm sure you don't need to be told this, but yep, they're from Radahn's Remembrance, the option that isn't the bow from the Finger Reader. And then we want the Highland Axe, we want a seal and a glintstone staff just to cast the buffs, doesn't matter which they are. And as a little known tip, you can still cast the buffs with a seal that you don't have the stats for, so just choose any that weighs 0. Then we have ourselves, of course, Alexander's for an extra 15% damage from his questline, the Magic Scorpion for an extra 12% damage from Saluvis' questline, the Raw Medallion as we went over, and then a free slot of utility that you can do with what you like. In the Wondrous Physic, we have an extra 10% magic damage, and then the other slot, again, is do with it what you please. This all comes together then to give you an incredibly potent, powerful, and perfect Starcaller's Cry build that is honestly ridiculously good. And I really do mean it. It is so much fun. And again, both in PvE and PvP, being able to just yoink people off ledges and send them tumbling to their death is beyond satisfying. It is a brilliant invasion tool and one I have had a lot of fun with. Honestly, this little, I say, fight here, where I was just patient, just waiting for the summons to happen, waiting for them to start their journey, and then catching them with the AoE that, yes, goes through walls, then the follow-up, which, yes, goes through walls and is a much bigger radius explosion than people give it credit for, and getting that double kill through the wall surprise out of nowhere, and then very sloppily, I will admit, finishing off the host. Oh, it was just beautiful. But just as similarly, it also performs admirably in duels as well, as the timing of the actual pull-in actually tends to catch people off guard, and it's also a fantastic punish tool for if anyone commits to anything ranged, like a cast, or indeed just a slow skill or a slow weapon swing. It's surprisingly good for just straight up killing people with, and because we're using the Highland Axe in our left hand for the passive, because we've got the Raw Medallion, we are doing a surprising amount of damage with it, and if you do manage to hit the follow-up attack, then they are just going to die. Like, full-on, just die. The attack also comes with a lot of hyper armor. It takes quite the beating to actually cancel it once you have begun it, which also makes it great for trading and lets you get out of a few sticky situations by just powering through and using it. It will absolutely send enemies flying, dunk on light bosses, and hey, about 4,000 damage-ish to 5,000 for a full combo on basically anything you use it is nothing too shabby. It also makes clearing levels just hilarious fun because you just kind of gently stroll through at your leisure, pressing Starcaller's Cry and nuking everything around you to death. That huge vacuum placed them in front of you is so wondrous, and it's so easy to just clean house. So basically, there you go, a amped up little secret raw boost Starcaller's Cry Starscourge Greatsword build that I hope you have a lot of fun using if you do indeed choose to use it yourself. For now, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss future builds, tips, tricks, funny bits, all that good stuff. Remember to like if you've enjoyed this, and consider supporting the future of this channel on Patreon down below. It is what keeps us going, and it does mean the absolute world. A goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.